The European Senior Tour has arrived in scenic northern Germany. Welcome to not just an unfamiliar venue, but also a brand new tournament on the calendar. We're in the town of Vorbeck for the inaugural staging of the Pon Senior Open. As for the exact geography, well, the host complex, WINSTONgolf, is located around 80 miles east of Hamburg. The reason for the use of the word complex, there are 45 holes here, and we're playing on the superb Winston Open course, where Germany's own Bernhard Langer makes a homecoming. Barry Lane maintains his moneyless battle, and Carl Mason goes in search of European Senior Tour win number 26, up against an attractive field that includes Paul Wesseling, this year's ISPS Hander PGA Seniors champion. Martin Keimer won the German amateur stroke play on this course 7 years ago. Now the inspiration for him and the golfing boom in this country is expecting quite a test.
Well, the golf course has demanding greens, really demanding greens, and with the pin positions we're going to be playing, you got to really hit it in the right quadrant or the right part of the green. It's a bit like Augusta and some other courses that we play on. And with the wind, it always makes it harder to be that precise with your second shots into the green. And if you miss it in the wrong places, you're going to have some nightmare 3 putts, maybe even 4 putts, and some difficult up and downs.
Sharing Langer's viewpoint, Australia's Peter Fowler, winner of the John Jacobs Trophy for topping the Order of Merit in 2011.
It's very tricky if the wind blows. The greens are so very undulating. You've got to drive the ball well, and you've got to be spot on with your iron shots, and the putting's going to be difficult.
It's also difficult to find the superlatives to describe Langer's sustained success. So come on, Bernhard, what's the secret?
A lot of things are necessary to play well. First of all, you need a good technique. You need to be mentally tough. You need to still have the drive to practice at age 55 and go at it. And I have all that. I have a lot of fun and enjoyment playing the game, and I stayed reasonable fit. Still thinking I can improve my technique, which Willie Hoffman, my coach, has helped me a great deal with that. And so whatever I lose in distance by getting older, hopefully I can make up some of that just by experience and better technique, and still shoot low scores.
When Langer captained Europe to victory in the 2004 Ryder Cup, Anders Forsbrand was his right-hand man. Now, though, the Swede is back competing.
I didn't play golf for 7.5 years, and then last year was a lot of technical stuff. It's a lot of hard work. When you haven't played golf for a long time, then you start competing, which is a little different. And this year is much less technical stuff to work on, and just go out and play golf, more or less.
Forsbrand won the SSE Scottish Senior Open last month, but last week, Des Smith triumphed at Woburn.
I've been playing quite well all year, actually, without getting any great results, but I had a top 10 at the Scottish Senior Open, and then I had a top 10 in Wales the following week, so I knew my game was there or thereabouts, and I needed just to shoot a few low rounds. And although I struggled in the first round last week, shot 72, I really got it going from there on, and my last 2 rounds, a total 10 under par, so that was pretty strong. I've always been working on my swing for one reason or another. I haven't got the simplest golf swing in the world, but yeah, my takeaway, I've been working on it to make it a bit smoother. I have a tendency to shut the face down early on in the backswing, and I'm trying not to do that.
Now we had to ask, how does Captain Fantastic Langer see the forthcoming Ryder Cup?
I think it could be one of those that might come down to the last match or two again, which would be great for the Ryder Cup, because that's always a thriller when that happens. The teams are fairly evenly matched, but I still think Europe might pull it off, and I sure hope so.
The pressing question now, though, is the Pon Senior Open, where I'm pleased to say the Eagle has landed. Not the conventional 3 on a par 5, but a hole-in-one on the 7th, achieved with a 9-iron in the second round by England's Peter Mitchell. His reward, a nice little bonus with wheels.
I had 141 yards and decided it was going to be a 9-iron, so hit a nice shot. I thought it was okay. Heard it hit the flag, well, I thought it was the flag, but it was the bottom of the hole. But and Ralphie was sort of going a bit cranky, saying it's gone in the hole. And I said, nah, not gone in the hole. And I'm looking at the car behind me and I'm thinking, no, it's not gone in the hole.
What a prize. But Kim Thomas, what news of the title contenders?
Well, Herr Lange was on form in round 1 with a 68 Phil, but a triple bogey 8 on the first hole in round 2, including 2 penalty shots for incorrect drop. Well, that set him back, carding a 73 to lie 3 under, well back in the pack. Better news, though, for Frenchman Marc Farry. The amiable Parisian shoots 71, then a joint best round of the day, 66, which included this fine second shot to the 18th. Farry safely in the top 5 on 7 under par with a round to go.
Bill Langmuir has won 8 times on the European Senior Tour, and after rounds of 70, then 66, the evergreen 59-year-old Scot could possibly make it 9. He's certainly in line for his best finish of 2012.
But the somewhat surprise leader after 36 holes is Aussie Terry Price. How about 67-66 for his first 2 efforts on this difficult Winston layout? His nickname? The Rock. Well, he's rock solid on 11 under par, Phil, that's for sure.
Yes, and Price, who's yet to crack the top 20 in a European Senior Tour event, finds himself in command going into the final round. 3 shots clear of Langmuir and the other member of Sunday's final group, England's Glenn Ralph, also confident after his second round 66. So then to the all-important closing 18, where there's been early encouragement for the host country's greatest golfing hero.
Indeed, Phil. Bernhard Langer's out of the blocks early, getting his own back on that first hole with a birdie. Another came here on the par 4 second, and a third red figure recorded on the 7th. Langer 6 under, 7 holes played.
With Roger Chapman taking a well-earned rest this week, Barry Lane could close the gap at the top of the order of merit. He began the day 4 under before birdieing after this expertly controlled approach from not the best of lies. That was precisely the start the recent winner of the Speedy Services Wales Senior Open wanted, and it got even better. A rare birdie on the treacherous second before pars at the next 2 holes means that Barry has the bit squarely between his teeth.
The first on the Winston 585-yard par 5. Mike Harwood, tied 5th on -6, opens up with a much-needed birdie. After this rather exciting third shot to that opening green. Harwood smartly up to 7 under.
Kevin Spurgeon was 5 under overnight, then sprang up the standings with the ideal introduction to his round. Following Lane's example, the former MCB Open winner in Mauritius birdied each of the first 2 holes. The man who uses a yellow ball in the red early.
Frenchman Marc Farry, his second shot on the par 5 opener. Playing the second easiest statistically this week, he knows nearly every one of the contenders will birdie this one. Oh dear, that one is wet. So trouble very early on for Marc. A penalty drop later. This is Marc's 4th shot. Up and down for par would be very good. Talk about very good, that's excellent. How about that for a birdie? Oh la la, Monsieur Farry. 8 under par, just like that.
Lane's infiltrated the top 10. Farry's joined Langmuir and Ralph in a share of second, with Price 3 to the good. We join the final group, playing their second shots to the first.
A look at Billy Longmuir's swing from the right-hand rough. Watch the water on the right, Bill. Lovely smooth tempo. He's always had that. Brisk through the ball. And staying dry. Pretty good. Par 5, remember. Third shot to come.
All new territory as a senior for Terry Price, this. Just hang on there. Okay, so far this week it's been a ball striking clinic. We've told you he's 3 to the good. It might well be 5, 6 or 7. Missed a number of chances in the second round.
Mike Harwood making this iron look very small in his hands. Rather tallest men in the field. Second shot to the second hole. Again, water in play on this banana-shaped hole. That's okay. More than okay, actually.
When Des Smith won the Travis Perkins PLC Senior Masters at Woburn 7 days ago, he became the oldest winner on the European Senior Tour this year at 59. Maybe an inspiration for Bill Longmuir, who's the same age.
Oh, very good. Oh, Bill.
Indication there of just how true and how quick these greens are.
Good view of the shot from Mark Farry here on the toughest hole on the golf course. Round the water. In his case, over it. Staying down nicely, holding his angle of his spine. Always a good sign. Mark, over the years, has been prone to a bit of a hook shot. That one letting him down into the bunker.
Troublesome progress down the first for Glenn Ralph. So from the fringe, putting for a birdie. Strange old start this. You've got the second easiest hole in the course, the first. Then, as Kim said, the toughest, the second. And then the third hole, a short par 4, is the easiest.
Terry Price has made birdie here on the first 2 days. On the first. Of that to make another birdie for. Very comfortable indeed.
Just an indication of how difficult the second hole can be. Already today, a couple of ex-Ryder Cuppers, Gordon Brand Jr. and Manuel Pinheiro, have made 7s here. Farry has that to salvage par.
Very slightly from the right here for Bill Longmuir. Maybe right lip. Yep. Well converted, 9 under. Good start, Bill.
Nice day. We had some fog early on, but it didn't cause any delays. Thankfully, it burned off. Now, Glenn Ralph coming out of a couple of years where he's been suffering from an energy-sapping form of diabetes. Feels a lot better these days, though. And I think that's reflecting in his form. Coming back to something like his best.
Up ahead on the second green, uphill putt for Mike Harwood. Traditional putting grip, right hand below left.
Yeah, good putt.
Yeah, good roll there.
Just the pace letting him down, but a par there on the second, very acceptable indeed.
Now then, let's see this putting stroke from Terry Price.
Good.
Just simple. Back and through and in. 12 under.
Another right to left putt. This one for Mark Farry on the second. Oh, he's gone outside the hole. That's costly. Back to -7.
Having fallen victim to the toughest hole in the course, he makes a bogey there. Farry drops 4 off the torrid pace that continues to be set by a martial arts enthusiast with a black belt in birdies. More from the Pon Senior Open after the break. Welcome back to the Pon Senior Open. This is Tim Thielen, a former club pro in the States, who for the past 2 seasons has been living the dream and often playing like one on the European Senior Tour.
It takes a lot of effort because you work in the shop usually from about 7 o'clock in the morning till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then you make time to go out and play or practice. It always was a goal of me to make it on a tour, and luckily at the age of 50, I made it on the European Senior Tour.
Tim's returned to Germany after breaking into the winner's circle here back in July at the Berenberg Bank Masters.
I knew I could play over here, but I didn't know I could win. And that's the biggest thing on any tour is once you win, your confidence level gets a lot higher because you know that you've beaten those people once and you could possibly do it again.
Helped by an Albatross 2 on the first, Thielen shot a closing 67 to win by 3 from Mark Mouland, Barry Lane and Peter Fowler.
I was a chaser, and I think when you're chasing, it's a little bit easier nerves-wise, and then once I got the lead on 16, I just knew I was playing well, and I felt great. So I just got it into the house and, birdied 16 and 18 coming in to seal it.
Of course, the result was thrilling, and having better half Lucinda there to share the moment made it even more pleasing.
The hair stood up on the back of my neck. I couldn't believe it, and having my wife on the bag caddying, that was extra special.
But Tim wasn't satisfied, and a week later in the Swiss Alps, he completed the double by winning the Bad Ragaz PGA Seniors Open.
This year I just, more or less played chess, moved it from one spot to another and made a lot of putts and came out on top again.
Thielen's conservative course management worked a treat en route to overcoming a former world #1.
I got to play golf with Ian Woosnam. I mean, it's a person I grew up, watching on TV on Sundays, working in the shop. Got to play golf with Barry Lane the last round in Germany. So to compete with them and then, come out on top those 2 weeks was spectacular.
Don't discount victory number 3 arriving soon, but it's not going to be this week. With rounds of 74, 75 and 71, the 51-year-old, born in Minnesota, now based in College Station, Texas, looks set to finish just outside the top 50. He's not the only one to be fooled by the testing greens on the Winston Open course. But Kim Thomas, Bernhard Langer, keeps plugging away.
Yes, out in 4 under par 32, the Golfmeister strikes again with birdie here on the 10th after this exquisite approach. 2 pars followed, but at the 13th, it proved unlucky. A bogey there set him back to 7 under. Third hole, the shortest par 4 on the course at 316 yards, and Mike Harwood makes very short work of it. Take a look at this. Yes, it's in for the Eagle 2 for 9 under. 5 straight pars followed before closing out his front 9, sadly with a bogey 6. Mike turns for home, 8 under par.
Despite a bogey on the 9th, Kevin Spurgeon turned in 34, then parred the 10th, before slotting home that putt for a 2 on the 11th. That's 8 under, and potentially his best result of 2012 is on the cards.
Mark Farry cancels out his bogey on the 2nd with birdie here on the 5th. He then cards another on the 6th. Mark on the 9 under mark at the turn.
With his 5th birdie of the day coming on the 7th, Barry Lane stayed red hot. He cooled slightly by parring the next 2 holes, but having covered the front 9 in 31, the ex-Ryder Cupper picks up where he left off with another birdie, this time at the 10th. At this rate, even if Lane doesn't catch Terry Price, he may well occupy 2nd alone and as a consequence knock a €40,000 hole in Roger Chapman's cushion at the top of the order of merit.
Is the rock immovable? Well, perhaps after this on the shorty par 4 third hole. Zip, birdie time for 13 under. He parred the next 5 holes and so approaches the double dogleg par 5 9th hole, still with a very healthy lead fill.
Yes, Lane's now alone in 2nd, but with the last group approaching the turn, Barry is 3 adrift of the ultra-impressive Price. As for Bill Longmuir, he remains on course for his best result of the season.
As he approaches the 9th, 3rd shot for Bill. Pin 21 yards on, 8 off the left on that slightly higher upper level on the green. Big greens here on the Winston Open course.
Glenn Ralph. Normally par fives, you think, clear-cut birdie opportunities. On this hole, well, a birdie chance for him there, but a 5 is never a bad thing. Pushing the trolley, wife Michelle must be out of action. She's his normal caddy.
Terry Price. 8 wins on the Australasian Tour in his time. Former Holden New Zealand Open champion. Another great approach. He's definitely in the zone.
Kimmy's also won in the unlikely golfing location of Papua New Guinea.
Harwood up ahead at the 10th. Another pin well back on the green on this final round, 27 yards up from the front edge. He gets nice and close with his second on the par 4. Harwood currently 8 under.
Mark Farry was saying earlier this week that he's been helped by his friends on the tour. Lungmuir's helped with his chipping. And Peter Mitchell has assisted with the game tee to green. That was one of those horrible shots the pros don't like. He was perhaps a little too close to the green for his own good.
Another chance to see the swing of Bernhard Langer at the second toughest hole on the course. Big par 3. The 15th, 222 yards of it. On average this week playing 3.13. Excellent shot from Bernhard. Precise as always.
Now, come on, Bill. Work left there. 6th on the all-time European Senior Tour money list.
Almost cricket pitch. Or perhaps in his case, boule pitch length. The Frenchman Farry sliding to the right at the end. Very good approach putt though. Should make his par there.
Now Ralph might have learned something from Lungmuir's putt. Just, I think, ran out of pace.
After that very good approach from Harwood, will he take advantage on the 10th? There's your answer. No, he knew as soon as he struck it. Couple of feet past.
And all of this is good news for Terry Price. Never quite won on the European Tour, but he came second in the Portuguese Open in 2004 at Penina behind Miguel Ángel Jiménez, and the other players recognise he's got a lot of talent.
Can tell you Harwood hold his par putt on the 10th. Now Langer for an unlikely birdie on the 15th. Oh yes, one against the head. Can't keep him down, can you? Irrepressible.
I can tell you Lungmuir parred the 9th. Halfway through his final 18, Terrific Terry leads by 4 from Lane, by 5 from Farry. The Pon Senior Open looks set to provide the 6th first-time winner on the European Senior Tour this season. The wins increasing in strength with the leaders on the back nine in the Pon Senior Open, where Mark Farry bogeyed the 11th, relegating himself to 8 under and into an 8-man logjam for third place that also features Bernhard Langer. But there's simply no sign of weakness from the runaway leader. This price is most definitely right, because Terry moved 4 under for the day, 15 under in total with a birdie on the 10th. By the way, that's his 16th birdie of the tournament. Picking up a shot on the 14th, Barry Lanes strengthened his grip on second, but he trails Price by 4. The golfer from down under very much on top.
Yes, especially after 2 birdies in a row around the turn. Now he comes to this 11th hole. Wind with the players, but from the right. So that requires what they call a hold-up shot, trying to keep the face square to open through him back, fading against the wind. Pretty good, heart of the green. The pin is 39 yards up on the green here.
Tall man Ralph swings economically. And in that case, I don't think there was quite enough lower body movement. That's why he went left.
Bit of a Rhett Butler shot, that one, Phil. Gone with the wind.
Now, what about Bill? Straight down the pin. There's Sam Price, Terry's son caddying for him. Bill's son is also carrying the clubs, Callum.
You see the pin perched over the bunker on the right-hand side there. Ball below his feet for Mike Harwood. Should cut this one in a little bit. Has he got the distance right? Well, not quite. Bit too much cut, not enough distance.
Surprisingly, given the way he plays, Mark Farry's best result so far this season, only tied 13th at Slatey Hall back in June. Needs a good result here to qualify for, I suppose, a tournament he's heavily involved in, the Tour Championship in Mauritius in December, and he's on course for that.
What a beautiful place to end the season too. Now Langer, man has won $1.5 million on the American Champions Tour this season alone. How about a stroke average of 68.88, Phil?
Well, he's been described by many as the best senior in world golf, and I would not disagree with that.
That was his second shot to the closing hole. Now Lane, back at 15, Barry Lane. Back to the old friend short putter, flirting with the edge of the green. It just took the sting out of it. Barry 11 under.
Now, I thought the lie of Glenn Ralph in the tall grass was tough, only advanced it to here. But more than likely, after that excellence, he's going to limit the damage to a bogey on 11.
Mike Harwood on the same score as Glenn Ralph at the moment anyway, 8 under. It could all change here. On the 12th for birdie. Get up. Just the pace letting him down, so he will stay on the 8 under mark.
So frustration for one Antipodean, but for another, it just goes on and on. Terry Price putting for a hat-trick of birdies. Surely not. It is, you know. Extraordinary. This is a man who's never finished better than 22nd in a European Senior Tour event. His best payday, €4,000. Here, he's on course to bank €60,000.
Short shot, but look for a big swing from Langer to get plenty of spin on this very awkward bunker shot. No room to play with there. That was very well played indeed. Third shot on the par 4.
Now Farry. Nicely done. In a couple of weeks' time, he goes down near to Cannes, to what is basically his own tournament, the French Riviera Masters, and I think he will arrive there feeling a lot more confident.
Back at the 11th, slight draw putt this one, right to lefter for Billy Longmuir. Get up. Again, the pace fooling him. So Bill will stay 8 under par with the par at the 11th there. The topography here and the whole scene is rather like the Casa Serena course, isn't it, Phil?
Inland links, definitely. Glenn Ralph, you never want a bogey, but in his case, it's a source of relief.
Now laying with a slowish putt here on the 15th. His wife Camilla just striding away. Not allowed to stay behind the line while your man putts. Nothing wrong with the greens, just a misjudgment from Barry there. Slips back to -10.
Now, come on, Bernhard. Give everyone cause to cheer. What a pity. The big disappointment for him this year, apart from not winning here, failing to convert final round leads in both the Senior Open at Turnberry and the US Senior Open in Michigan. As usual, Langer good value, but the top of the bill hasn't been the star of the show. That's relentless Terry Price, heading for comfortably the widest victory margin on the European Senior Tour this year. The inaugural Pon Senior Open, played on the Winston Open course in Vorbeck, Germany, has turned into a one-man show. The man in the spotlight being Terry Price, who has streaked clear of the field with 4 consecutive birdies around the turn, the last of them a tap-in at the 12th. What a display this has been, and even though Price, who lies 63rd on the European Senior Tour Order of Merit, bogeyed the 13th, he leads by 6 from Barry Lane and Mark Farry. Locked in a battle for second. Glenn Ralph currently lies 7th.
Starting the day in second spot, Glenn Ralph, so he's battling to get back into the top 5 here. Second shot on the par 5 14th. Straight away hole this one. 542 yards, third easiest on the course. He's just on the edge of the green for 2, that'll do. Be
You know, seeing Mike Harwood up there on the leaderboard and Terry Price going great guns, it reminds us just how well the Australians over the years have done on the European Senior Tour. A couple of order of merit number ones they've had. Ian Stanley and last year, Peter Fowler. The 16th can be a gathering green where the pin is, but Harwood just missed the contour.
Back to our leader, 16 under par. Very impressive figure that is. Terry Price looking comfortable still, maintaining good rhythm for that approach. Another birdie chance on the par 5.
Fond memories of Germany for Mark Farry. He won on the European Tour here in 1996, the BMW International Open. Mind you, the weather back then, I recall, was not as nice as it is today. Lovely golfing weather. And although he's not happy, for most that would be considered a lovely golfing shot.
Right to left, dogleg, par 4 closing hole. A challenging one for handicapped golfers. Barry Lane, fairly simple prospect over the water to find the back pin. Dropped a shot here on day 1, parred it on day 2.
One of those horrible stances where the ball is appreciably above the feet. From where he was, top-notch, Kim.
Yeah, came down the grip a little bit to allow for the ball being slightly higher. Good technique there from Bill.
Now this might be a speedy putt. Well, there's no might about it. Slow at the start and then over the ridge. Gathering pace. And it just trundles on by.
Yeah, test the left to Mike Harwood to stay 8 under. This is a runway putt, long and straight. Glenn Ralph. Oh, if only had it dead on line, and he knows it. That was for eagle, of course. I can tell you, he made the birdie. 8 under now.
This for Farry to take second alone. From the stroke, from the way he was looking, you can only assume that was more a misread than a mishit.
Terry Price dropped a shot at 13. This to cancel it out with birdie. No, he knew. Up early. Always the sign that the player knows he's missed it.
Can't be too hard on him though. 50 holes played, only 2 bogeys so far for Price. Oh. And the worst kind of bogey for Harwood on 16. The dreaded 3-putt. And so late in a tournament, Kim. So costly.
Yep, spending cash, Mike. Now up the ridge and over the ridge for Barry Lane. So a pace putt, this one. You'll be thinking more about the pace than the line, I suggest. Oh, very well judged. Now, if he taps that one in, it'll be 73, 67, 66. Very good weekend for Barry Lane. Another top result.
Yes, and rather like the SSE Scottish Senior Open, where he was going for a hat-trick of victories, undone in the end by a slow start.
Back at the 14th. Longmuir for 9 under. Very short backswing. Just pulled it round the low side of the hole, actually, that one. It was a shame, great chance. And force his way into a tie for second, perhaps.
Well, Lane leads in the clubhouse, but barring an unthinkable collapse by the leader, the Pon Senior Open will not supply his 5th win as a senior. That's because Price retains control, but another Aussie is stumbling badly. We saw Mike Harwood's bogey on the 16th. Well, he drops another on the par 5 17th to plummet out of the top 5.
On the final green, one of the tour's friendliest characters, the 2010 MCB Open winner, Kevin Spurgeon, 70, 69, 72. All adds up to 5 under par for the 57-year-old. Also from England's southwest region, Andrew Sherborne, the tall Bristolian, who moves to 3 under for the day on the 17th and 8 under for the tournament. That's the way he finished, because he parred the last.
Well, no alarms for Terry Price playing the 17th. He's from Hope Island in Queensland. Pars on 15 and 16 for him. Yes, and he's given the chasers no hope. Not his best, but at this stage, academic.
Yep, just find the greens, no silly mistakes, avoid the water. Now Glenn Ralph. A couple of birdies to close out for him would do him wonders. 8 under. Barry Lane in the clubhouse on 10 under. That's a bit distant too.
Bill Longmuir hasn't made a bogey on the back 9 all week. But he's right down on the grip here. This is another one of those horrible shots. And all things considered, I think he'll settle for that gladly.
Mark Farry, 10 under, trying to claim second place on his own. Playing to this final hole. Made a 5 on day 1, parred it on day 2. He'd love to get a 3 here to finish. And pip Barry Lane, but it'll be hard work from there.
You can see where Glenn Ralph is aiming. Left to right. Downhill at the cup. Just slightly over borrowed, but what a good putt.
Hasn't quite happened today for Mike Harwood. Level par for his round. And if you go level par on the final day, you only move backwards down the leaderboard. Tricky shot that was for him. How well was that played? Using the fringe to great advantage. His 3rd on the par 4 18th.
Also quickly, let me say well done to Carl Mason. Inside the top 10 again for the 3rd time this season. He's 88th top 10 on the European Senior Tour. For Terry Price, though, it really has been one of those rare occurrences when you're leading a tournament. A stroll in the park.
Bill Longmuir looking for his best finish of the season. 8th in bad regards, his best so far. Well, that's his 4th on the par 5 17th. Can he salvage a par to stay 9 under? Oh yes, part of his game that's improved a lot actually. Used to be somewhat twitchy on some of those short putts.
Now let's hope that Price can, yes, avoid a bogey. I was mentioning before about the fact he's on course for the widest victory margin of the season. It currently stands at 3. Tim Thielen at the Berenberg Bank Masters just over a couple of months ago.
This then for second place on his own, Mark Farry. Is he going to give it a chance? Get up there. Go on, keep going. Oh, if only. Very good week though, 71, 66, and if this goes in, a closing 69. Well played, Mark Farry.
And also well played, Mike Harwood. A par on the last to keep just inside the top 10. Now, unless there's something outrageous from Longmuir on the last, Lane and Farry will be joined second, but they're trailing in the wake of Price, who's 6 to the good and safely on the 18th fairway.
Yeah, nice and safe, as you say, Phil. Ball below his feet, so it will induce a cut shot. He should start this on the left edge of the green and let it drift back. Played with the little utility club. He's double-crossed himself, pulled it a little bit too much. But he's dry, and that's all that matters.
Striking hole, this, isn't it? And not the most enviable shot for Glenn Ralph.
Also out with the hybrid. It reminds me of the final hole at Gutlarchenhof in Cologne, scene of this year's BMW International Open.
Glenn can't believe it. Thought he'd struck a peach.
Ooh, how about this one? Fancy this, Phil?
No.
Longmuir second. Needs a clean contact. Oh, it's flying well. Great shot, Bill.
Not intimidated by the railway sleepers or the sand or the carry over the water. One of the best shots of the entire day. Yes, thumbs up.
Well, there is one very happy Queenslander. Terry Price.
The financial rewards in a whole new stratosphere for him. €60,000, 15 times greater than his previous biggest cheque as a senior.
Third shot then on the final hole. All lying not too badly. Softly played, and needed to be, because that is a slick green. Well, it doesn't matter now. You can take 5 from there and still win.
He's a neat chipper, Glenn Ralph. Needs to be there. Good contact. Oh, lovely. His third top 10 of the season guaranteed, after being on the leaderboard in Holland and also at Fairmont St Andrews.
Well played, Glenn Ralph, 208. Radio Luxembourg, for those of you old enough. 8 under par, a bit long. This last hole is rather like the hole at his home club, the London club as well. This for a share of second place. And 10 under, no. Not his best effort, but he'll finish 9 under par. Good week's work. After he taps this one in.
And so the only remaining business is to see whether Terry Price can conclude with a par. He's going to become the 6th first-time winner of the campaign, joining Paul Wesseling, Tim Thielen, Anders Forsbrand, Fred Couples and double senior major champion Roger Chapman.
Now the boomerang putt for the Australian, right to left. Oh, he's only got it. Rub it in, Terry, why not?
It's a cliche, isn't it? But icing on the cake there. It was his week from start to finish. He never took his foot off the pedal. Fiercely determined, Price refused to give the chasers any hope.
They were right there behind me. I had a good lead overnight and I thought I'd better set myself my own target, and I was hoping for 17 under. That was what I'd set myself mentally at the start of the day. Failed by 1, but still got the job done, so it was fantastic.
A fantastic win, yes, but the actual display was also truly outstanding, enhancing the tradition of Australian golfing excellence in Europe. Price went wire to wire on the way to enjoying the widest victory margin of the season. What a way to announce yourself as a European Senior Tour champion. And if he continues to play to that level, his first victory most certainly won't be his last. Terry climbs 42 places to 21st in the order of merit, where the gap between Lane and number 1 Chapman is just over €80,000 and bridgeable with 3 events left. At the Pon Senior Open, though, Terry was #1 after a priceless performance.